Well, we have a mom. Good evening. Akwa Baba Jasu Jumedie. So you are live on 101.7 FM. Most are live on your partner radio stations. High Life Radio pick here live in Virginia. Kings Jersey Radio so pick here live in New Jersey. And on Naspa Radio so Kuku Spencer and any team so pick here live in London. Adamfupa Media so live in France and Belgium. You're live and Migachu FM so pick here live in Kukrin Tuminti. Good evening, Bio. Good evening, wow, Canada and US. Good afternoon to you because there were major issues be a becker one sem. So once a flyer at that because US government no said the omabo bogan style be bino and then what ukuta visa no and now what I feel no I didn't say apply visa no do any many because conditions now man are tougher for people to even get visas. But okra ukute bino crown so any better because they say omo America crown more on crata crown so a problem more. Wait, just say things are not the same anyway. When they dance, you say Ghana, we have to start in Ghana, Africa, any other country be uncle for two but brojo brani adieno. You start to say about build the foundations of your mind because on such will be no start be or pay be obey me there. And in this case, yes, such America for no. And you ever call immigration assembly because they say almost the bond that 3 years so anymore. Why would you say pay US visa? You say the bond that you skebia ubetia. I feel also who will be crabia or B1, B2. Oh, crown was some no. In fact, I'm saying there's this Nigerian need baby okuta B1, B2 or they call America a B1, B2 near tourism visa or they cover it. And my minister could post flyer on Instagram. So oh now koye program or Texas. And no cotton way Guinea they will do airport and almost DC play back to sender. I feel no also now soon. Obi Chrome, new rules, new laws. Except the Ghana no Igbo king. On every Nigeria about declare no so building a kingdom Ghana for no. If we have a right to Bubefu say Igbo king by your kingdom or Ghana, then America for also a right almost to change your visa rule. On Tiasia Kochepo. Your rules. Your country, they determine the rules. New king, new law. Abai for front no aba headed by Donald Trump so any laws. On Tiasia develop mind. O Ghana ni wo Ghana your own rules. O se Ghana no pnemo bi mbeye Igbo kingdom. It's you, your country and your rules. I don't know why we are being hypocritical. Say hey bu ofu say obi si obeye Igbo kingdom. And rightfully so. Because to me nko obi krom nko declare kingdom me boa. Say nko for Wodimaya say there's a year friend saying Chinatown. There's one Arab town. It's true, but Chinatown for nko declare kingdom in America. Pakistan for ni India for na omo nananum slave sweat and blood. Yeah, they build the United Kingdom. They said they Ghana, yeah, they nananum go to build the United Kingdom. No, omo kra omo entitlement. So omo ko create kingdom or UK. Omo create kingdom or Ghana ke ya kra all right. You be create kingdom or UK. Kwa ya nananum gold. Ya nananum gold ni de chechere o man. You create kingdom. South Africa for gold and ye create kingdom no queen ne channel no gold no kra one pempem no fi South Africa omokrom create kingdom in South Africa in UK ho enti ubetimi aye Chinatown India town yeti Ghana any Lebanese for net what is Lebanese for you create Lebanese kingdom no what is say India for you Ghana to create Indian kingdom if you any Nigeria for many years you know my adwuma until busy at time number Apollo 468 pamo na that's the history of Ghana is so mad that we are Nigerian. The last thing you would want to do is say that will be creating kingdom. Then you have Wodimaya supporting this. You can create Nigeria town. You need Nigeria for net Ghana Gege town. You need Nigeria for net here. We are brothers, but no Nigerian has ever claimed to create kingdom. Even the Nigerians are upset. So we need to create kingdom. First and foremost, does he even have Igbo blood? Igbo royal blood no mudisi hine wo Igbo no abrantie o obi ana. Inti why is he creating a kingdom? You see, Nigerian government should call him to order because a diplomatic in Tokwa no creating between Ghana and Nigeria no. Because Ghana and Nigeria are perfect brothers. Your history is very common. You're similar. Until you don't want to create a diplomatic row between Ghana and Nigeria because Ghana and South Africa. I have a pamu free, yeah, no, yeah, but you don't create, and you name say Africa for your kingdom, so you can create Niger, Agege town, Lagos town, yeah, Ghana cry, Lagos Avenue, yeah, too. It shows you how much we love our Nigerian brothers. Say, yeah, no, But nobody has come here to create a Nigerian kingdom. Now, OBJ, Obasanjo, Krabekre, or no crowd entitlement. Okay, so I'll be creating Nigerian kingdom. It is the Nigerian government should be the one calling that man to order. It's young Ghana, if we are upset, so we see creating Nigerian kingdom, Igbo kingdom. And yeah, Trump see creating a visa rules. Yedi, Tina, yedi, attorney, a queer Hinechine Abuaji Abano, so that she will explain to us. Oh, copy visa B1, B2 now, what they call for visit. No, Udru airport. Oh, fill it form be our first pony a fill it forms. They say, I'm on fill it form be but would nimni a busa question as oh, me kobo music show. Ghana musicians, no. Any bloggers am to kwankwa broche no. Would nim now ko now Ghana me because B1, B2 ni a tourist visa a visit. And yes, I me kobo me ko show, me ko music awards. Mo aso ye be hye nti ena mu nyina mu tie show no. Eti say Igbo king no a when tie futuo na abetena Ghana te me create kingdom in now ye can get no ko Ghana constitution article 11 or can sources of Ghana law or can customize or can constitution first what can enactment and sana wa buy common law wa back customs and traditions your customary law no and then create a kingdom and your customary law no recognize the kingdoms Gonja kingdom first Yana kingdom Ashanti kingdom now who Ghana custom and traditional constitution can article 11 no which is in be create kingdom problem man Nigerian government then I say now be create yeah be bad Nigeria ni be bad no now who embassy the people who come to visit on diplomatic trip no they are under diplomatic law no so a whole law just obi ba Ghana no a diplomat okum nipa kra Ghana ye to me dinasem Ghana you can't arrest him you can't jail him that is the diplomatic law we are see country be at the edge unless you then come back to Nikrom Nigeria and you jail no that's the diplomatic law your friend diplomatic immunity every country be obese and diplomat ko baby the person is immune now who need diplomatic system you are not a diplomatic employee whatever I say me creative baby Nigeria need diplomat about bet now no Nigeria embassy no udruwa even though it's Ghana na why Nigeria if Ghana law be inside the Nigerian embassy obi ya money inside the Nigerian embassy Ghana law be apply to them that is the rules a friend of international relations international law a law ya beto we are seeing ye nyina ye follow it is Igbo king no but it ye nianam Ghana me say Ghana for ya na ton ye ho na we are legitimizing what he's doing na ye to not to what my mo be title to me ben award from the Igbo kingdom na e want Nigeria no to confer titles on people and they your mama sem but many papa na come study or starting conflict between Ghana and Nigeria you can create a Agege town we ankasa Ghana for no kwa Agege town but ye ni Igbo kingdom na the Igbo Nigeria for obi na Igbo ni and no quite say you are even doing a tribalism because Nigeria for one Nigeria you know Igbo nko. So why would you want to create an Igbo kingdom and not even a Nigerian kingdom? Even if what journey is clean and genuine, like you would want to create a Nigerian kingdom, not and the word kingdom, na Africa, the Yemfa kingdom in the agro. Don't go and use a language that hey, Papa wepen huasemo. Now me, I don't blame the man. Any whether he's bragging or not, I don't blame him. I blame ye nananoma him for now. Moton assassin man because he under Ghana, your landlord no. Foreigners to meet land. Inti mo amoti social media Ghana na foreigner. Your landlord no foreigner or to meet land. First no. Your landlord na ye wono. Now be a foreigner on to meet land. Just a Ghana need guarantee man. Ni exercise because na affect investors or mobile Ghana no ni exercise no. And ye say a foreigner be able to meet land as long as a person ye investment. What you say? That's not even a condition. Say a lease into a assassin be a foreigner better no. We are Ghana in our process here. We bet me out on forever and ever. But a foreign and quando bet me out at least. Usually almost the turn of 50 years. Bet me the amount 100 years or more massive. But usually almost turn 50 years. And what for assassin? Who na nanama here for now? Mote ningo pram assassin or so no. Nipa na fet you ambeti mutiso. And auto assassin. A contract. Meto maje sika meton buying and selling. And then I'm cotton as I say, Yantam are the man. I am for no are the ones that we should be demonstrating against, not Papa no. Papa no, baby, as I say, baby. Also, what? So I am for no are the ones who have to be questioned. Baby, I say, Gama Shipon, Gama Anoni, Dangbe Shipon, Dangbe Anoni. It's if dang baby anoni me where from this man, me man ni ne shipon. Mbeje. They are the chiefs. Mona was your question mo. How did the man come to buy the land? Oh, fast and what it's a contract. Meto asase or se meto. It's a contract. More here for no na was your busam question. Mona na buy no mo tunton asase na keka say. Even among young Ghana for no crowd, if he a co ebeto asase wa kra ni yebu ofu. Hey, gama chipon gama no all the Nigeria ni. O creating kingdom of na yesu. Yebe swatche. Foreigner, emrani si foreigner want to mean thought that asase. You can only buy it as a lease, renewable by the owner. That is the law under the new land law. Obi oya Ghana need obetumi ato. As a year first forever legal alodia interest or legal terms that you use ni ade but hanya law platform you know. You have a question to answer to your people. Man, no free Nigeria. I don't know when your baby uncle say ho. More offer to him and he bought it. When we are, if we are stealing it to you, have to tell us. And this I'm John. You need to sit down and have a conversation. In the Uncle America, the say America for more country. Omo loss. Say this I no kromo ma. Ma. Yeah, ma, who knows how multiple entry the 5 years maybe no come back. Na Ghana for na so can America for yase so mo. Obi ba America 2 days. Omo be wo one no dey to internet say na me ba wo passport o. Ko bu san kroma mo time omo anu omo kwa broche ko wo. Do do say na dey to abonten. Ana omo ka kire nko. Yeah, so ye din. Zan fele sorry a dey bio interview go for jam. Oh, na ba jam na wo a. O san a wo benya nkrata. Ya kasa yen Ghana for no. Say Germany obi ko wo ayete ko ye DNA. First no munye DNA ba yen ye di begina internet so Paul Ambantemfo na ye kasa oh Germany wo ba na be wo be san wo benya paper. Ya no America wasesa law no tom unti ase akoshepo. Ye dey our job is to get you the proper people no mbema information tene. Lawyer you no oji by the hour. Nti ye tua akuya sika nka ye ntumi ntua $400 and $500 an hour. $1,000 you first Ghana way but on one who say ni anam Ghana for hom betri o muti o say if you out there ma me church Ghana for mu so da ochina o kope visa obehu ya kache nkofo na no ekuye ya na eba ha na obeche nkofo mu say o ko apply for visa check social media no wan koka bibia o hom betri o na Nigeria ni okotro hey I'm going to Texas me cotton weights odu airport and yedi ni see plane say back to Nigeria go to Abuja and Lagos go kotena ho o visa na B1 B2 ana be business wanya. And they say, Udru airport, a question. You're very, very careful. You can't some muntie, mbaba online, no mabedi atem. You never listen. Okay, mama, good evening. Ya kwaba say, yeah, that's so when you want to even do this for us. No? Yeah, appreciate any sopa. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I just saw who you there.
Good afternoon to all the listeners. It's here for you now.
Dasi pa na make us into me to our country dasi so waje pediese oni e bega so ni so ni anu Ghana for obi abeto otu kwan enti patro chem first and foremost about visa no wo so omo de bond aba say wo benya visa ye ma bond te tu eska we to
me patro enti no to say I'm sure say nkofo be brate that I say President Trump or why any what be one big beautiful bill act. He had a dream and a vision. So, per se, one law, it will be beer, shame. I say buffet, everything inside. And I say, you can inquire zoo, Nambia will be. So, the law encompasses various aspects of United States, management. Yeah, they're not inside it, or immigration provisions be or per se change immigration landscape, in the US, no more say House, almost voting on the bill, draft of law, almost voting, and their Senate, not Senate, also voting, they have their version. So, and they had one final version, medical regulations, immigration regulations, tax regulations, one law. It's President Trump or signing into law. July 4th on the day of independence of the United States. Now in it, provision be a friend a visa integrity fee. In fact, and then I'm Judiciary Committee of Congress, before they draft sa bills no omobe kasa bebre omobe free witnesses omobe free state department a federal agency now that's responsible for US embassies never issue visas no until they had two past members of the State Department. In fact, now Ghana issuing visas. So they went to testify, and that will help the Judiciary Committee to draft near immigration laws. As part of the discussions of the Judiciary Committee, almost say enough talk about illegal immigration. As I say, so focusing so on legal immigration. Because legal immigration is also another avenue amount for a take advantage of. Tighten. And during the Judiciary Committee, debate, analysis, they even mentioned Solomon, Egyptian national now. He came in on a B2 visa. Or the B2 visa be and Boulder, Colorado, now be protesting. I believe to free Israel, peaceful protest, and I say makeshift fire, a bottle not to crowd and a heading about 18 people into a serious issue. It's a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Any call, visa crowd in on visas
legally, no?
Yes. As part of that, and almost say visa regular process visa. No, there's now going to be a lot of light shining on them. They are under the radar to make sure, say, amount for bad they don't overstay. Because again, Solomon, Papa, your bombi, almost your buyer, no. 1 month after he entered on a B2 visa, no apply for asylum. According to one of the members of the Judiciary Committee, you can tell, say,
they are dream being or the buy.
Tourist, which is the purpose of a B2 visa, not buy. Say and they apparently interviewed the family members. They so I said, confirm say okay. All the B2 visa abano. Na and yes say or which or some baby of buy. And na the committee the goal of the visa integrity fee say pe bibia ebe timi a disincentivizing profile ba betimi asan
okay, nti ade bia wo be wa wo be san ba Ghana biem na che nkoka ho
wo be san ba Ghana sika no share statute no ma it's pegged at a minimum of $250 minimum no NHS said the Secretary of Homeland Security they can raise the fee by regulations. Okay, 250 minimum, yeah, per year 300 for fiscal year 2025. But every year, so starting from fiscal year 2026, there's going to be an upward adjustment based on inflation and CPI, consumer index.
Next year, bet me about $250 never cost ro.
So now, in fact, this year, once they make the announcement, so the law in the law is already in effect. Now, as to implementation, because my law now, if federal agencies now, implement operationalization strategies. Okay, time ben link ben process ben send your scan, send your begu. And some of formulate then they'll issue an advisory to the public. Say, okay, moving forward, when you have your visa issued, visa now, this is the fee. Send a $250 minimum.
Okay.
And they can raise it by regulation.
Say Ghana no obi a okoji B1 B2 visa ana I visa F1 students one visa near J visa near the obi a betua $250 a wo de beto ho chese wo kona well overstay na wo ba dia na wa ba ba ju sika wo besan do sika na ma wo
into share wording of the statute. So first of all, visa integrity fee, let me start by saying it says security deposit and as a bond. And once it's only paid once visa no ye amount. And you deny visa
okay
from performance visa. And it's meant for non-immigrant visas. That's what the statute says. Oma exclude any particular non-immigrants from the statute. And a third
It is
thing,
just green card or then you file they say immigrant visa maybe.
and we immigrant visa and non-immigrant visa. That's correct.
Okay.
And so for non-immigrant visa, just a student, work visas, H1B, B2 visas, and in terms of reimbursements, so strict reading of the statutes, and I almost say the Secretary of Homeland Security may reimburse. So if you are permissive and your mandatory say, oh, you shall be reimbursed, they may. And and strict criteria obe follow and sana on sabe council. If you play by the rules, you may get your money. Or violate terms of a non-immigrant visa or sikanashi. They think that a bit disincentivizing for.
Oh, but Council him say $250 the Ghana for yes cabinet scam will be our ready to come on. And to amount the so with the 250 ni be hunu na yen. Na yen kwa dia ombo ye bepe bosi akreti yako.
In fact, I'm out in the crowd, not make kind of mystery. I'm saying, go Ghana for in fact, I mean, when you think about it, $250, they don't need $250 to go back. They don't need to get back $250 because of a Juma 1 week now. Obey says he can back. And it's almost pointless. Because there's going to be a lot of chaos and just trying to regulate a deal way. Meanwhile, the people no. I don't think said that 250 bond fee
By your brother, he says it's almost multiple entry, be single entry 3 months. Can also because baby sukuta 5 years. What will happen today? Be kuta 1 year. Any identity no crash almost multiple entry be man.
To say we share away with your social media and it's when no I think I say US embassy Nigeria almost they gave an official announcement say as of July 8th, moving forward, all visas issued on July 8th and after, they will be subject to a single entry and a 3-month expiration. Now, let me explain that. Because a single entry, in fact, previously, Ghana was entitled to a lot of, let me start by saying there's a reciprocity table, and that's a reciprocity chart, and that's a visa reciprocity schedule. So that schedule, no, you say you do me, I do you. There are some bilateral agreements more diplomatic. For legal side, the OSHA Immigration Nationality Act, Section 22C2, it tells you say there is a US can mirror the reciprocity of other countries. Into Yemen, say Ghana for if they are giving visas to almost US citizens, so the Ghana embassy in DC, if they are giving visas to US citizens, similar classification of visas, validity period, the US will also mirror it. So they kind of do me, I do you. They mirror that kind of thing to the greatest extent possible, to the largest extent possible. Nature say, that is the understanding. But beyond that, me say a visa sanction. It's more a visa sanction. Even the advisory now, US Embassy Nigeria, and almost it was based on visa overstay, not managing identity documents like passports near there. But going to the
what's actually Ghana account? What's your Nigerian the mom? Ghana account. Yeah, then I know be affecting.
Okay, so reciprocity schedule you have access to all the countries in the world. You can put in the country and it will tell you the type of visa what is the maximum extent possible a consular officer can issue. It is some of the countries like B2 visa, they can issue up to 10 years. Ghana, up to 5 years.
5 years. Oh, okay.
Multiple entry. It's the maximum extent. No, but consular officer will Ghana because say, oh, me 5 years. discretionary, I can give you 2 years. No matter single entry, but generally, normal 5 years, multiple entry. So, Department of State website now who said that change has been reflected, just that there's no formal announcement on the website.
Okay.
And another question, Bisa said, oh, will it affect past issued visas? Generally, the law disfavors retroactivity in statute interpretation. International say, yes, statute and I say almost we have to read it moving forward prospectively. Unless the Congress are thrown into the statute, say, it should apply to be 10 years ago, because it's grounded in the fundamental principle of fairness. Say, and so now the rabbit me actually, you know, I saw to me man warning, and I saw to me because if I didn't know that this was a ruler, to me MBUC against me. So pretty much rule no applies moving forward. Issue.
I feel now 5 years near the end. Just say obi 5 years visa bim.
Because the maximum under B2, B, all the B type, and all the non-immigrant, well, most of it because diplomatic they didn't count. 3 months and single entry. Single entry in HSA, you can come in once.
No go. Not your council, and no make us say, more America for home because once Nipana the cabin took us remove once or was a maid like me cobium. And no, because he back into now saying I say cheer or much ching coffee. Say obi room no so on cobium because the reason why almost the new rules he by say students they buy monko. And he say no room I'm to me a track one because I think I know some more tracking coffee.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, US double a bigger fish to fry. And they're not coming to chase you. Say, okay, Uremu also walk Virginia and walk Maryland. I just say, oh yeah, security risk. So generally, almost track it, but they almost track it based on in-country overstays, out-of-country overstays, based on airline manifest. So they track those numbers, but individuals are there. But who knows? They say, they are really bent on, cracking down on illegal immigration. So, and if another thing I want to highlight and say, people in Corpus say they are very confused that, not just not just 3 months per now.
Okay.
Into your case, a single entry 3-month validity. I want me remove once. Remove once, you have to remember, say, your visa is just an entry ticket into the US. And no never regulated with period of authorized stay. No.
Okay.
Period of authorized stay your I-94. Now CPP officer no how to airport and now port of entry because okay. Or 3-month visa allow you to enter, but may amount 6-month stay.
Oh, okay.
It's discretionary. They can even give you up to 1 year.
Okay.
For some of the people, be about surgery, medical. And they can give you 1 year. Now, it's not very common, but they can still give you I-94. But typically, I-94 is 6 months. For some people, what certain behaviors be an inconsistency. 2 months, 3 weeks, 1 month. Even though it's a 3-month visa, 3 months not just means that the remove, but period of authorized stay in it's regulated by I-94.
Okay. And I mean, apart from visa, there no near the more inside that I know so to say Donald Trump then go chase your me or the through California so chicken crop for farms. Ghana for so baby students baby say because student visa no bet me the age 20 hours pay. I know quite just a campus. Nti baby na jijin crop for nkrata na chese. De na me ye la sulala yi kakra kra bojo adwuma. Say I no so want to say almost jai chasing no mu chasing crop for na and Ghana for no more chase you.
Well, I mean, to say I wouldn't know farms in this essential places now can hope you say best pay President Trump now bow so on one who said as higher into Monto Moboma farm workers. Now China no masamba because they be into your after everybody. They claim to almost see west of the west. Almost Uncle Kemp said 2 days ago, President Trump and they are chasing west of the west criminal offenders. Meanwhile, there's data showing say go for more ICE detention. 8% spend convicted criminals with violent, they have violent criminal convictions. 65% with there, no criminal history, no criminal record.
And so
And you know,
Biafra.
Biafra, because Tom Homan can say sanctuary cities, near cities now, they don't want to almost person be ice, in not just say, almost say safe haven, immigrant or young undocumented, not very report crime, no need crata, and chinning counts and walk around or people Spain. They want to make their communities safer and let people feel comfortable because some of the communities, they are built by a lot of these undocumented immigrants. Or 20 years, 30 years, almost in team war. And Tom Woman says, sanctuary cities, if they don't work, only ice for Anye Juma, ice for Nankasa Beba Sanctuary City Hall.
I teaching couple.
Don't do what they are, and then everybody is fair game. You are not off the table. Only criminal offense crap because what my descend and they're chimunya afra. And of course, there are various nationalities, a few Ghanaians, Nigerians, that are being swept up, not only in the farms, all these other places, but in immigration courts, at workplaces, and so.
It didn't just say they are almost new arrangement to go be your visa no the room. Na onya obi krata bi de ye adwuma kra okra betimi aba be chew nti ne je say no advice be na be magana for mom ye students o dian yo mom ramu mom ba na so obi anya careful mpese mom advice o no.
Okay, I mean that there to say ya unim no na ice for no complaining Tom Homan I believe Leon's ice director no omo complaining say assault on ICE officers akosoro because in kofobu and edu baby people don't care anymore because ba be chini kunu akọ ni kunu so na ye breadwinner as some of these Hispanics other people or be a 1/5 ni kunu na ye juma or ye construction or no ye whatever work or ye be china until they'll do what they got to do to protect almost so what they think can protect almost family. Based on that, almost say there's a lot of assault on ICE officers. Into almost ko baby ma phone who say ye ba be ready area where and say ba be ready area way to minimize attacks on potential attacks on the ICE officers. Into to say the American almost using surprise tactics and in fact I think that some time ago who said one of the members eliki almost rates to media. Into Oma Titans and baby nobody knows. And is and one of the other things,
there's no means I'll bet me their protector not so about umpires and their mom because be breeding coffin craft and you never know that or mobile to bear that protector. But this question say World Cup no crazy. Now you say Mexico, US, Canada. US woman and so US because that's the question Stephen to busa.
To be honest, the World Cup me follow, but I believe say US woman Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania and some other parts, but football,
I know so visa ho asem no be Ghana for visa na say because World Cup no dey bi mu so imagine to mu nya wura mu dey almost the be twasi. They say mama obi ayam hyehye no nti the person odi twasi no dwan no dwan ana onye and mom dey who dey want to make but like are they safe?
Well, I mean, restrictions now banned the door super, it is very highly likely to impact World Cup, attendance because it go be brave USA. It's too much, until people are not even comfortable coming because obeteno obia oye ni bibi obe of Canada of Ghana of na you detain you one share year you detain you 2 weeks and now 15 days one go share year why a casualty. I think they're very reducing normal person ban. But I don't think
I'm sure US won't issue visas cry. Yes, I saw just a few visas. Bebre no nya dia omobema. No so
it's likely because already vetting procedures put in place, Juma be Brema officers. Now officers they are already very severely backlogged. From COVID time, they still haven't recovered. Almost recover, the backlog is growing still. And as every day, the new rule, and now you have to vet more, do this, go here. Into a Jumane Dawson. It's appointments in the class and because or mobile.
Yeah.
They are likely, that's likely going to affect ability of US embassies to interview and issue visas.
Okay. Me person busa another question on green card for ne nkofo na yeso mo nko, but social media Nigeria ni a or call US a omo san born back to send the sea plane mu no. Wo se na wo me hu se wa ye video so wo B1 B2. Nti ya da na omo pam no na wo ka se niam nkofo post wo social media no mo nya careful but Ghana fo ntie be se wo ka sa asem ni bi o se obi aye social media me ya pam no.
Okay, yeah, Nigeria who say was trending, I think say 2 weeks ago and a week ago. Or see autonomy Nigeria. But I'm saying a bookie exhibition show be New York and now was it Texas? Okay.
Texas.
No a bookie exhibition show be just or babe displaying the goods. And then so the two social media. So babe exhibition of a church and Okodu port of entry, Obedu airport is what I should say. Obedu airport is our landing or US airport and a CBP, Customs and Border Protection formal interview, like they interview everybody. Primary inspection, preliminary questions to make sure say BBI okay. Now and class from an the work for secondary inspection. In terms there, almost notice see, I don't know at what point almost suspected said there was something wrong. Well, some people are randomly pulled into secondary inspection. They are based on one or two. I can't tell what went wrong. But no, okra B1 visa, which is your B1 visa, and your B2 visa, and your combination B1, B2. It's no B1 and Kwan just to come and negotiate contracts, sign deals, just be a babish TA conference, educational conference, be just business purpose. But business purpose, it excludes making money in the US. Baby, I'll be same now. That's the juma. Bibi, ube to me, and I say US citizen, well, where you would need a work permit to be able to do it. Because not just you are competing with the US worker. And are binding some person, they don't want you to destroy the integrity of the US market. US citizens, because and immigrants, that's what they've been saying all along. They want to be sure, say, baby one, baby negotiate on san kasika, you're just going back home. Apparently, secondary inspection, according to her, almost DM muno say, or catch customer say, me no me babeton we see or better be at 5 metal 6 we at $300 or whatever. So according to the interpretation of CBP officer, you are coming to work because you will accrue profits the US. Now Foreign Affairs Manual, which is the single most authoritative regulations about consular officers how to adjudicate visas. Oma discussed the case law be won by the Board of Immigration Appeals, matter of HIRA. In that case, when you tailor need of abontain or by US or take measurement of suits for his company, which is based outside the US. Take measurement and then so pick materials, material we end the coin. The BIA ruled that he was not working. He was not working because profits didn't accrue in the US. It was purely B1 because of a measure for the take orders and not call chrome or make it not ton. What the BIA ruled was that one of the most fundamental factors on the consider where is the principal place of business and where did profits accrue. Into bami obeton obeye also babe chain. If it dear obaya or customers babe picking me and they will give you money. You are coming to compete with other wig makers and other hair sellers. And there's a process. A foreign national now, accrue profit. There's a process through the labor certification. Labor certification where you will employer and I say, you submit something to the Department of Labor and say that the employer will say that they couldn't find any willing, able, qualified, and
say you know
available
mo
US
no.
workers. Into no mobile high one. So you are either going through the labor certification process, and now say you are seeking a national interest waiver. Say, you know, and as you qualify under EB1A, say you don't need a job offer or a labor certification. So one go through Sani Yamani now banner up so babe ye jume ni sika to send America, you know, I shared a video on this babe share unuaba obabe bibisite unuya yare obem ye juma yes, because they interpret that as work. Because obi obabe she ni what the CBP will tell you that they should hire somebody, a nurse.
Because they say free now come on the invitation come on mobusuafo no men chro wo mu say oh me ma we abehwe me ba me ma we abehwe men chro yes now
because you want nanny swaha you want daycare swaha obi akofa nkofo abehwe ne mba they say daycare say be empty.
Wow.
So they don't want to destroy the integrity of the labor market. You have to have either the right non-immigrant work visa and now say nipa no file work permit based on something. Oh, basa o ye tourist star. On se guechi. Adini shegu from grana or granddaughter or shame milk ni from grana. Well, I'm exaggerating, but you know, there have been cases.
Yes, that's the condition of the visa.
Yes, there have been cases.
Lady no didn't see plane mo call back to Nigeria no.
Exactly.
So Ghana ni okuta B1 B2 no. I know ya for tourist conference. Men could post BBA because say you were Ghana for mo music awards. The program. Omo tade flyers to social media pa. Some for the musicians need to obi blogger odiechi zam fellas no money ade yakoye we no yakoye be 2020 Ghana ebe ya men ko post flyer bia.
Oh yes, because in fact you know about media ne entertainers ne krana the law is very clear say say P1 visa na obeji aches oba perform an appropriate visa for ejuma na oba be you know because ebi no wo home ejuma no be a entertainment performance into who say ejuma but long as back now babe any sika and as some type of profit will accrue to you because if you go any sika nkwa if you are na dying pro be the man set mu in exchange for also so share ba now ni na ye ejuma o ye into you know
make I say media fund first e took an visa because they know say obey juma until they give you a different category which is I not B1 B2. It is a 1 year no but when you men could post bibia be kra men post bibia of social media and I will do immigration they say I tell you omo busan ko for questions o koye den address be na wo ko until obi one no koje visa no address e dem me ko program no acho visa form no so New York meanwhile the flight on fire and na ko see Atlanta na visa office and immigration nebusa no wo koye den o say o me ko Nashville Tennessee meanwhile we do omo say the information now they je o visa no immigration officer no so kuta the same information wo so koye program on New York but yebusa wo airport no wo ma address or Nashville patro no chrem because ma hu say they assign kofo bebrebe a couple of weeks here.
That's very correct. Obviously, no, there is more aggressive interagency database sharing. And you know, people don't realize the CBP customs they have access to Department of State, US Embassy they have access to USCIS. Apply petition you know, almost access to SAT database to enable them make admissibility determinations. So and the time now we apply for visa and who apply for visa 1 month ago. Say court can be sister wedding. If you do every year plans na season. It's possible, but to me, that discrepancy need to me raise red flag and secondary inspection. Then they start looking into your phone near friend sister and say your wedding. But wedding invitation,
wow.
they even go as far as they'll call the reception. Maybe also reception. No, is there a wedding booked? Hotel, they will go through all these lengths to ensure say yampa. And it's that kind of discrepancies, you so you're careful. And I always also say, oh, by US and surprise you be. So me be surprising my sister or Pennsylvania because CBP officer no ko friend no see there be me patrol me ni mo be all bad. Immediate deportation.
Yeah, do basic blame I go back to sender.
Back to until you go and wait. You be detained, you be 12 hours, 10 hours. These people, I told them, I'm sorry.
And go for referral. Yeah. But yeah, if you must send the questions or Hanum say, yes, and come. I mean, Francis say, Yembusa say, whilst you are still fixing their own, you know. Or say, please ask lawyer for me if I get your B1, B2 visa, not my overstay cry. Will I still get the 3 months all the time? Or they will give, or they will multiply it. Meaning, says Anna, Francis will busa a question now. Council say no more 5 years ni biem. Nti B1 B2 oni nyina ye 3 months. Te ukuta dada ne say oh B1 B2 ye 5 years and you obey use so say 5 years and be expire. But after that na 3 months and obenya. That's what she's saying. Doc say if you are Nigeria ni na ye pam no back to sender, there's always a backstory. Comfort to me ko ye niema. And na real mo no. Nti me pe de lawyer can say comfort nye careful pa say the oya wabonte whether it's social media whether a day or you're careful. Eric cannot say what impact has this America for you or more teaching for IT? What has they had on this labor market? And yeah, I have even and saying Donald Trump crab say or more we juma hotels ne farm no be ya obe hu omo but no the only so can say 100%. Into the na some koya ya obenya problem. Joe say Ghana dey free town because share the cost of America ne dey Allah. I just say Ghana dey. Yaman kofa fan 14 cry. It's true. I'm redeem or say this lady that took oh sure wow. Mo sanko for ya mo didi atemu mo hia Jesus yo. Yeah tie me nin akuya nyina. Ya boy ebrewe o. Yeah pension cry ye ntumi ni o. Nti wow send obi papa message. Na wow do wow na ogu weni matthew. This lady that looks like village pot that used to cook kenke once told that Baomia is the leading this year, like, and she's doing that that way. No way, I just said, IQ will low. I say, yeah, doing near my papa, low IQ was a boy. No busy Baomia will lead. I know a crime. When I grad that your music, I know. When I grad that your music, low IQ. Get to a magic, any I use it. ABN was saying. I have come across information suggested that Honorable Okujeto Blackwell is responsible for America for the Omuye. Could you clarify? Council, a minister been and America for you we are now.
Oh, me patrol.
Almost information. We say Ghana Foreign Affairs Ministry, no minister no akodi kokon America for no mumia. If you say do you on our US?
Me patrol mean to me interest and her side, but I think say Wayno is more related to travel ban na person imposing. I think in my estimation and only related because Nigeria ban normal issue na almost say they relied on information concerning visa overstays, information sharing, secure travel documents when normally yes our decision to give a single visa, a single entry visa valid for 3 months. Since I think say no na say no if
boss we Okujeto Black Kwasem o men fan question Ghana for na e school no more overstay omo connection na ya na me kan kasa o me se wo de busa design files nkofo na ko Germany awo be wo ye mema osika free ye kasa Ghana for ne ye kasa dodo ye kasa ni overstay ni ade ye na akofa asem we abanti we de Okujeto Black Kwa to de bi onye de ba men fan question we de ono a ye ya no kasa ni overstay ye baby akpakpakpa ye ko epesi edwane enu ni ene ye so aye nya no kwampa so unim se opese oye no buroskoto no na wure mu a na wakopa obi na wawae no but mu be ye na mu koye as na America for na document ni na lawyer ka no mo hu say ye overstay dodo nti we nya Okujeto Black Kwasem mo nkodi kokon se bia na we have snitched on ourselves not him why you kojo to force students but your students no lawyer obe san ka bi work under but students no visa na they say student visa on bema na
but no so much limited to single entry 3 months into The catch is that all the student visa if you leave now, so be study for 2 years, what we boost you for, we see there 6 months, bronya. Now, once you leave the US, you need to go back to the embassy for another visa. Now,
Wow.
But one of the issues and also kept asking on your social media, and they say, now 3 months, no, be a study for 2 years, amount F1 visa, single entry 3 months. How would that work? Like I've explained, no. Or I-94 and a bit determine how long you can stay. Into be room as a student, a very big service record.
Yeah.
So long as you see this record near active, no, you are fine. Until to me, you have a 3 month visa, I'll be removed. Now, additionally, 5 years of PhD, you can continue to stay for 5 years. I won't need problem. The only thing is, Upi Kromuha. Now we'll come back to Ghana, and I say wherever you go to, coming back in Ube here visa as our bit my baby.
Okay.
And also there was a cable that was issued. They alerted U.S. embassies around the world say almost halted FMJ visas because of social media vetting. They had to intensify. But resume is so
I know FMJ near them visa no.
F year for students, F year for students for academic course of study.
Okay.
M year for students for vocational course of study, and a J year for cultural exchange, to say interns, au pairs, scholars, near there, almost about the year Juma under the J1 visa program. No. It's the FMJ near pretty much like all students categorized. Almost resume almost set up appointments, I'm for but they have enhanced social media vetting because some of the students, who ba sem US almost anti-Semitism and almost person as a student book into now buy into they are going to do more vetting. It's they've reopened, but they are going to be doing more vetting. And to say that
it's also a warning to Ghana for them, but your school near Israel near you Ghana for your castle. You Israel no more, you'll be on Facebook near can be what America for Iran for found home. Who do ho? Ghana so mine cry it's above our pay grade. Men quiet is a black one US senator no diplomatic passport. Now who do one men pussy when pussy and can be. Because na lawyer can say so almost scrutinize social media nyina unya can be pe next time mama ma officer we qualified ko mama wo nti you careful council
to say that there was also judiciary committee na normal can about visa integrity fee one of the members made or can be say almost back for English as a second language no men notice say almost overstay rate in so do so pa. Enti no ni nyina no omo ba be mo mani akọ enti consular officers who could do what there are certain types of courses be aba besua I say we are sure say adesua na aba besua na say open chance keke na aba be room which is why even generally if it's not a very serious course of study aba be ye good school ya na visa no timi good timi ye din kakra a change say more reputable school omutum say no oba besua ade we ni eje adesua ne ho
yo nti ye the best ani politics because you were a NPP for primary say bobo ba ne ho sensem nyina so issue we say can lawyer so na America lawyers charged by the hour nti no ye ntumi nti ano extra hour na ka ho no bi busa question about say wo akuta 5 years that I answer question that wo visa dada wo nka ho ba visa ni wu a you come under the new regulation obviously impact on labor market but you need a labor expert or economist to do that one for you say I for started so much what has been the impact on the labor market but meanwhile I will not worry about the impact on US labor market. Let's worry about Ghana labor market. No matter the problem on
their let me just chip in a little bit.
Okay.
Say I think it's California and almost fourth largest economy in the world, $1 billion economy, thousands of farms, Ventura farms, in Ventura County, and a place called Oxnard. Yes, strawberries, limes. Yes, strawberries in apple. Farm, they go and MSNBC. Video, they went and did footages. All the food produce farmers harvesting. Them, there's a lot of Americans and other people who are saying round them up, deport them all. And so they will sit in their rooms and say immigrants jumano. Ye kase monko yes so obi any ho person ye. And we are likely going to see an impact in your food prices because already now if you are any boy ding.
Yep.
Piki bibi kitwe bi now $100, right? So the impact we're going to be seeing is in Feely. But I've also seen some Americans say they don't care. They will buy a box of, a pack of strawberries, $50 from better, and for they should send all of, all the undocumented immigrants home. It is some people don't care, but some of them too are worried.
And I can't be an for UK for Susie and Nakojo to work and see UK so Omamium Canada and so me and Mutare. I'm building a gun. I know they are any so beshi. But bright Busasa I 29 so say I 29 know what kind of visa is it? So Omokahuana. Omoka new regulation.
So I-129 usually for non-immigrant worker and be a H1B petition. But there's I-129F also, which is for fiancé visas. Oh yeah, US citizen. Oh yeah, fiancé of a US citizen. So I'm not sure. What do you mean? What about? What is the question? Oh yeah.
One busa question, but we busa say US visa lottery for no October baby regulation be about account one. Me apply for visa lottery no be.
Yeah, so far there's no regulation on against the visa lottery directly, but the travel ban I impacted visa lottery for Bebre. They have 19 countries on my ban on both immigrant and non-immigrant visas, certain categories. And we've seen a lot of people so according to section 212F, you have a travel ban until we cannot issue you with a visa lottery, even though we'll go through process now, we're passing on. And hence, that's the extent to which it affects it. But so far, there's nothing else about to work against the visa lottery.
Yo, mama now I say Sandra busa question, but Sandra, I can't find your question. Me who the busa Emma. Obisi fiancé spouse visa me say K1. Almost way be affect your man. They are in a different category altogether.
Say K1, pretty much. I say technically, the embassy
immigrants.
The embassy classifies it as a non-immigrant visa, but they process it procedurally as an immigrant visa because obviously, but in with a K1 single entry, do 90 days. So worry now apply for green card. Book K1 non-immigrant, but you come in knowing say immigrant visa. I mean, with regards to all the changes, all these visa categories are still there. It's just that there are now a few more restrictions on time, duration, and validity, on some of these things.
Now more mukuta green card no yes be mo abagana mo ntumi asan ko back no so green card for no.
That's no more Canadian fake news and yampa. Enyampa. They have to bring obi or your green card holder or ba when timiamba. Number one, lawful permanent resident. You back into the US, you have the right to come back into the US. And they process green card holders under two categories, either as an arriving alien and as a returning resident. Or a returning resident, only problem, not just be out for 2 weeks and they process you as a returning resident. Just go back and go and continue your life as usual. But arriving alien usually for people on because say what for Ghana 5 years, 2 years, 3 years beyond period now. And now say what for commit a crime be that makes you removable and as a deportable. They can only send you to immigration court. Because and taking life, liberty, or property according to the Fifth Amendment, you're entitled to due process. Into CBP officer and to make us say, you're a lawful permanent resident. Either said they put you in removal proceedings and I said they try to let you sign the BFN form I-407 to abandon the green card. But you don't have to sign it. You can allow them to take you to court and then immigration judge. Now, no, me, I explain me into our chair or Ghana, and baby our chair. And then, they can, if anybody wants to take away your green card, it's a judge, an immigration judge, after you've been heard in court. No, it determines, say, okay, your green card or GFU you are no longer a permanent resident. Otherwise, CBP officer there, won't mean in case even if you've been out for 20 years, so long as you have valid green card, they have to just send you to immigration court.
Okay.
It is asem no nyampa.
Enyampa yo. Mayenda wase pa. Abusiafo akua ohene twene aboaje ne kasa no wo AK Poku law law fe wo Facebook ne ade if you google it will come up into a question be anu afre na wabusa no what you say but you have to pay for it because ono to na dwuma oye no kasa o ha nyina free na mo frɛ no na okokasa dia lawyer bia kasa no ho no didi ntu me mfa ne free sa nti wo problem ne ade a ubusa na because they say one way ye now took now yes the slightest mistake we should be guided accordingly. We'll call back. I'll bet me I share video no with you be or apply for visa. The social media any ade will be or honor my enya start ye free ho. Start ye although almost set your but start ye free ho dear. So that we be prepare ho. Oh yeah, no can say yeah je bond $250. Start ye susu so person ko US. I know start ye susu so what I say. Ye bibia what's away because abrofo no so motesa. But who follow rules ni nyina na wo okay omo de bema udru ane na wa wo jejeje wenye dru abroche de obeye ho no ye nka na ha wa level a no find you foot nti okay da se bebre se na unya ho abotre da se unu anum Ghana for so appreciate why ye nti a ka so ye da se
That's thank you guys
nti ebusa for AK Poku law obetimi akohwe no na obusa no question bia person obusa no visa issues no ukwa obeboa mo say how long can a green card holder we dey munyina munim dada Abigail we nyina unim dada nti we nye question for has it why obviously can I get stand open a number me send it and the number now yes I'll put it on the screen later on now yeah NPP for primary sim because primary sim do hwe kra no ntokwa ba won say almost suggest some in fact July we 19th omo special meeting a number decide whether that's early Congress no more can be so and ember so but already no research on my HS Canada Japan already kind. I was very surprised by this research. Canada Japan is leading the polls 51.4%, followed by Dr. Baumia 42.2%. Me William say how? Yeah, Dr. Brian Champo 3.1%, Dr. Educhum 3.0% or more mark 0.3%. But only say Dr. Brian Champo and Dr. Educhum man back game no muntem. So we don't know. Almost started so almost year campaign because I know I said Dr. Brian Champo coach president for the campaign strategy no. Ninyina enya innocent. Ninyina kan nti so mo de agro no go for mo. Can Dr. Baumia survive? And we can still be in the first position with 51.4%. So far, the who's Canada Japan comporting home. But other comporting who are Congress now, Canada Japan, you'll be any manana to Yogu. Bibia bet me see, or be bet me at Trigana, and so far can I add them. Abronia Trigana, what Trigana, why any so papa na because I'm the time to call it in Canada Japan, or Nimsam to call it because TV so a fire cover the unknown Cordeba. And to go back to me, but he has refused to be triggered. 51.4%. No, and you see, Ken Diano is a carryover because from last primaries, no vote no no. He's just added to the vote. And it's entirely organic because he's adding to the vote no no percentage no from last one. No. Dr. Baumia dear mom na because from even the Onyayan, which was 60-something%, no, and Dr. Baumia dear so is understandable because what the party are called elections now will lose you are pressuring now on a baby also. And now no make catch up say now this election primaries with Dr. Baumia is an underdog. He's an underdog. So I'm here. All these people can know Dr. A friend saying Educhumo, they are fighting for Dr. Baumia votes. And this election the Baumia no better no because a momentum na can afano. Any momentum na Dr. Educhumpo they are no the game na to form. Dr. Brian Champ once and I know ko ye wo Kumasia. Dr. Baumia who Brian Champ no say yeah you. Oh, Hamipa, you want to disturb me because they are really giving him a run for his money. And one way, Dr. Baumia no. This primaries. Now, one way he may not, whether he survives this primaries, will show how strong Dr. Baumia Nankasa is. What I say? It will show how strong Dr. Baumia is. It's my friend Canada Japan team, the campaign team member for US. Now, I'm discussing this issue. He said, no, this way, no. What does it mean? how is the team also taking it? How are they strategizing also around it? So that they can maintain numbers, because I can't any team to me maintaining number now to elections. And that means, well, this one they will be in a very comfortable lead. Mr. Jerry Opoguma ma wakwaba we say on aye Canada Japan campaign team member US more supply cash into his campaign. And so far, my good more surprised by this survey report be. And then
yo afia the dika mami chia atiefo nyina ne wahwefo na yema abusuafo enescomi ya odupon kese pa na NPP elusu no. In fact rehosem and the whole day I was so sad to hear the story. Na ye share ukranfo no ne nkola na ye show mu nyina den afa akwati aman hene ye show mo den se o ma hwere o mo de share NPP odupon kese pa na tuturu ntino ye nyina ye ma ye ho ya akọ enu friwa mechia me papa madamfo me role model Honorable Kennedy Oyine Japan ene ye incoming first lady Mrs. Christina Japan
na just a wives na kan de mo twa mo abo ana
ye twa obi amoye ye twa obi a kan obi a ye chia no afia ye twa obi amoye na
but official first lady because in second
afia ya kwala
first lady for no doso
afia ya kwala boni
don't ba ko pedi no nti na me busa
yi ba to mi chia eti ma me chia misrewa ifamenko
because me de minim no pa ye anti Stella
o mu nyina obi a echi obi a Ken ofa enye wenye secret to Ken obi anim or ye open man.
Exactly.
Ken doesn't have secret when it comes to the
exactly.
It's a big deal. I feel my chia team Ken USA, especially Dr. CNN, Reverend Sack, Mr. Terry Kusi, or no real estate. I feel my chia no munya. Omo boy duma pa
ayo
nana dua no nyina obi o kan obi a Ethiopia afia o say kan ayi aba no ya surprise ana to me it's not surprise enya surprise now if a percentage no crowd me hu ya na I thought say be cost more for Ken right now no 51.4 no it doesn't surprise me. Now it should hit around 56. But I don't so say as I say team no you might trim here then you're relaxing. Because these things, some of these things is very tricky when you don't take time say focus on your campaign. It will trigger not a distractive. So that battery mu there's many ba mu pe obi be fa wase. Like you rightful say honorable Aduchum ni honorable Brana Champo. Omatiasi agronimo. It don't take anything lightly. And like I said, be a bit is honorable Aduchum. Why Juma Ghana? I commend him. I really respect that man so much. And Brana Champion, they'll free Papa Krumo. It can take the technical community. So I say, but politics there, Ubia Obabia or they issue. Yes, any surprise. Osha Juma over the months and a year you see this year. You starting from thank you to near me CC here. Can Japan people pulling him back and forth. Abroad yet and okay. You might be social media. You didn't tell or say back be so day. Ghana watch us Ghana Jollof Bibi. Me ode me hu that omunina throw boom that ye di attempt and all this insult eba papa esu nyina no they say o se wanyo manu adro o kan woni birthday na se o say on so bi aso bi o de ka na emu pa na say ze Kennedy Japan de ye de attack no ne kuma ha no etino
new strategy no some respond to obia or be attack no
o de mu ye kra na I say o ye na Kennedy Japan won who did not tell me to say what planted seed now in Suguso. Oh, man, ya can see a mobile. It would almost cost one. I brought you starting. Who difference? I am more popular. Because then after Obia can say, oh, after Abronia is doing too much. What's going on? So I said, you even giving him that sympathy, support.
Sympathy vote. Yeah,
sympathy
okay.
vote. Then it's not voting. Let me put a sympathy support. Who are tells then I have MPP before I have you too much. Whoever hide I brought you so this no. But at the end of the day, no, is gaining more popularity and is giving him that strong momentum. You know, they call him, you know, the emperor brought you because man who's a boy, you know, more Ojai cry me, because they say your campaign or Jumama. So what I say.
Attack, no, they attacking and is working for my campaign team. No?
Yeah, Jumama. We
How
don't have
so?
to work.
How so? People.
I brought your viewers. Who ye ni nkrofo bebre ba betie ko theater bidie. Obu akra na wa take na Japan but onim boni awaye. Una woka. Ete enu echi na fe okotra gugu no agugu kan Japan. And then the kan Japan so bo gugu ana ba entrepreneur. Philanthropy. Wa bie wa cardio and dialysis center. Siko dey aboa akunafo hospital bed. Ni nyina pop up on internet. No selling na maye. But what is saying, dynamics na America. Mapa afia pokuya, on fa say unfri onya who is afia pokuya. Me and me tie na me hwe afia pokuya, me yi pen yesi mani. Like computer na cell phone, no my type of vim lady afia pokuya. Because afia pokuya, astute journalist. Why you adwuma over 30 years? Why you say get away cry no yes. Hey, and also the packets here. Now it give me the opportunity to read your biography. But what
The only strategy I'm always saying, no, attack is working for
him. I brought you Jaya Bemia. Me o Jaya message I could did not tell no the ababio. Because if I brought you can say, or no be na. Sa Goro boys and you only muniase. Then we beko pay na o Jack and Japan attended there. I will intentionally go and insult him and be obesi ababa. Me sure so otie. In the end there, o Jack Bemia. We push him to do more. Any secret coming in to bring it up.
But Munya worried said the kind whether you're no cray and I no cray because he claims that you're no cray. Munya worried about that campaign.
I fear Kenya Japan. Wow, you know Kenya Japan better than me. Wouldn't the Trump Committee 12? Tema. Unim no ye pa. Kenya Japan doesn't have secret. Ye besides a secret pen pa fear unim fa Kenya Japan whether now. The first thing about you say or a quick temper. Other than that, no. Why your politics over?
It's never no can no cry, can him say no cry. Any
more can you both remuka? Obi or no atimidian and no second crown, and your man that. Yen Nazun is a war bronye. Can they bring you out? Who don't know that bronye? I brought in the tuna note. Or quite America crash and no master. Can't talk car craman or a tray or sick can cry and talk car craman. I brought your prayer video that Bonto on the Admaku Befi. Omkoji pick up from Ken. These are some of the things that let him do it. Because one can always expose him. Like a rightful says, at the end of the day, no, okay, near who can allegations out there with the money. I felt will be better translate. Let me go find out. This time, yeah, we are saying more than where they were here. Internet don't lie. Who can be one man who are fapping? Papa no abo. All the truth will come out. And then I'll go can a secret. Say no crazy and pass out somehow kind of cry. It will pop up on the internet. Google be young man says here. What in common as it only the finance yourself.
Okay. But Obeka says I have 51% now when you know. Carry forward from last year because that's what I thought. 51.4. I thought that votes na munya na no. Ebi abeka ho kakra. And yes, I mean I entirely genuine this year and 6 months.
I think in a sense you are right. Because I don't know the last time I catch you said Canada Japan 37% now the previous campaign. I fear you organic.
Okay.
And yet to shape a solid vote onya Canada Japan never one basi obi a man rally ase. One yes or yatre ni hu nipa audience no. And one thing we should know say if you are every supporter of Canada Japan asem a to abama ni bia no because say free na kuma ni pemu no de papa na something. There's no amount of words I can better than in a chiama. No, I call baby fufu. It, yes, well, I appreciate it because we're national delegate, a new patriotic delegate survey. The delegates now almost to a banner. Only at 37% is there. Almost so if you chimo monsa, effort so from go to about this time, sir, machination, machinery, sir, by force, I didn't free one. Right now, your friend Madame, whether you like me, video be of the bread, me, don't say me they broke, right? I say, bra, si can the money buy a bed, yeah, the say, ya buy this to be, yeah, obi numas, ya bro pepe. Yeah, I have to make my own decision. I bet boy me dachi and name a chilima. It's nobody is going to tell me, say, 1, 2 amaba umia. Ye be you. I didn't yet year where did that. But me and the crowd can go your unit. It's then I will lose. Nobody has power anymore.
But I want to say, maybe a game not starting. It's early days yet. 6 months. The July more meeting now. More special neck meeting and nobody decided whether early Congress suggestion on the buy number tomorrow and do you think say 51.4% but me maintain momentum no? And with the emergence of Educhum and then especially which is a Brian Champ, I think they were all did the because you see Canada Japan base near more young people now or more are tired with the system no. And then Cochrane leadership or more something new, vibrancy. Was a Canada Japan near dignity, young people no or penasem. But the also now a Munipa Brian Champ also tapping into no. Can you maintain this 51.8 lead? No?
That is a good question. I fear you better maintain the crowd. Brian Champon, you may think say Odidiba. I fear there was a lot of young guys I know supported by Omianso. Okay. As we speak right now, there's a lot of young guys, youth, not be retired by Umiechi. Me platform be brave, so I see young, vibrant guys, they also support by Umia. Typical example, Nanaya Wasare, ni ene issue Nanaya, youth. No, onu proud
yeah.
Friends for King, they are there. Eti Baumia has that youth. Now the tricky is beginning at Brian, the honorable Brian Abichumba Muno. Now people thought say they are going to distract Ken supporters. Nanka ya Ken 37% na drop by be 18%. Na Baumia Fahoko. That was the whole plan. But they say no. I can for whom a children or say a buaka musim. The Yakoba Nakoba say fear. Obia no ye supporter. Or say your financier. Honorable Brandon Champo. No,
why financier? Can financier?
No, Baumia financier, not support no.
Oh, okay.
No finance and physical and energy.
Hey,
it is such person say, and they will cry no ideology. Now I don't trust it. It may tell me what that tells you. It tells you say, or but you vote now organize it from Kwau district.
Okay. Okay.
I be different bombing kwetiam in prior so for Brandon Champ almost the neighbor. But what in common I say?
Okay. He's rather a threat to Baumia, not to Ken.
Not to Ken.
Okay.
That is why I made that statement. Say, Opia or pair Ken and some more to about my Ken. Not Ken about for second time. They are not going to turn against Ken. There's nothing you do to who command is guys can be your bed battle. Apart only do know who can picture pass that like. Okay. That is the tricky. And I do to no Baumia supporter. This yes, I put you in that they were supporting Baumia. At the end of the day, would you share vote a results now banner? Look at Aduchum 3%, Brian 3.1%. That two no can give Baumia 48%. Rather Ken 37% no. Obi te say omo and the quarter to sense no ebebre na ekodi ba omi achi no majority ni na shift wo ba me pa cho honorable sticker no ni ba omi achi.
Yes,
where is sticker now? These are little tricks so won say so omo nyina they are all aligned and omo nyina triggering to Ken. It is going to affect ba omi not us.
Okay.
I don't know how Ken popularity they say what gaining more momentum. There's nothing they can do about it. About me, Osha info analytics aye Musa Dankwa your deba preview asa way by ya. Omo beka said about 70 something %, which is a little bit confusing because say Oba no beka said about 56 na Ken 45 for krana. It sound a little bit, but Osha intervals now. That is why people argue say it looks so shady and fishy. Yanka say Unima Juma because Musa Dankwa have won a credibility from Ghanaians. They say the posts are genuine. But on your careful, say, oh my being fabi be nada and enkoye to say anasa Jumani. Because me, I have that respect for Musa Dankwa.
Okay. Me want ask question be man because you see my case na money here no but man busa de Mohammed Ali you say mo di agro because you see the most calculation na mo ye won chain na. You should be mindful of what NDC is doing because the NDC and just say power BM. That's what he's saying.
Mohammed
because the man want to me deliver job creation ya omo kan ni ade 24-hour economy ya omo launching anu yi ene ade no my jobs banner boy si nyina nya bi ya more coming back to power whether it's Ken or whether it's Baomi and whether it's Dr. Brian Champa na Dr. Duchume be diamam. That's the Muhammad Ali issue always, you know.
But Mohammed, as some question Mohammed Abisano, a yes and no question. Okay, may that be a fear. Remember, me ma show you some condemn Muhammad. I always say, yenina ye pegana ye. The reason why I'm not throwing me support behind Kennedy Japan because I know say he can do it than other candidates now previously at the It is a mama ba no be any ye. That's what mama really 4 years no kwa. I don't wish him bad. I want mama to succeed. I want mama to even make difference in Ghana. It's a basana, the next government no, but mama after 4 years or maybe. It you know who after mama no ask yourselves after mama no NDC one ever. Even as I know they are confused. You didn't need power over society mama. It you know to us NPP no you didn't say can Japan can succeed mama. No take over mama. So I don't think say Ken ba and near my pa mama and Ken be between. Ken will never do that. Somebody who's a businessman or value taxpayers money no. He's not going to say my back NPP you know. Mama, I started 24-hour economy. Me buy because I the policy to my bitch. Ken will never do that. And you know, can say, let's wish NDC well. Now, or money free, some pension could do some level now we are expecting now. The next government but no so be far to us. Not Ghana ye be honest, America there's all more pami you. Last time I showed you some files. There's a lot of business it's right in front of us. But Omani Yenitino Bronico Transit now the proposal manner. You know what the first thing they check? No about Ghana, no or country economy. How is it performing? It's our economy and dollar inflation performance levels Jerry. Okay, it's a good plan, but let's wait a little bit. That's all. There's no much here to watch that. There's a lot of proposals. There's a lot of investors. I've sat down with them one-on-one. Actually, they don't want to come. And right now, Mama started saying the dollar not working here.
Yeah.
Friend. Also,
I feel your business with Ghana.
I see your dollar is going down, but let's give it a time because it's early days yet. It let us see if it's going to sustain. That's a near rougher. This is what we're saying. It's in me. I don't wish Mama well. Eko ye abekwa ma ye nyina sabita pra chefia. Ye ti petrol so ya ye tobi. NPP ni koto ayen ka so NPP ni to meto ni send ye Akufo Addo jam 17 cedis per liter. It ene me koto gas we udru ana ye NPP ni aso de be ma 17 mama for mo meto no 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't nya adwuma ba bi asa. Ye nyina we are one collective country. We are one accord. Obi anche obia. Dokumba one CDA. Who beton one, meton one. Assembly nyina no yen wish ye went Muhammad Ali. I don't wish Mama to fall. Nemo me can say after Mama no, the next person to take over Mama and Akufo Addo legacy, which I see that in Ken because if you are Ken NPP, but you can also see a little bit of Nkrumahism. You can attest to it. That is why our standing tall no yet very unique. So what I say, hwe papa enyuma waye, ontro ye bold. Ade bia oni broni dey negotiate, he's able to speak out. O kan dia na enya me hwe ni previous I think 2011 interview bia oni bolare here. No can young Kenny. I say ono na say ya ban know how to negotiate. Ye mineral resource where you crude no. It belongs to us. And more be me too good to say royalty at 3%.
Okay.
Na yeah, sign up obroni the code crude. No, dia associate ni mind. Na mo na ade ne yamodia no you are suffering. Ubeko Ghana na ye got test ni ye lord kwam kan. How?
Okay. We say Ken in the team they're bragging kwano munim. I say Ken is a divisive person, our friend NPP for say imagine yet. But I think I don't know. Mr. Jerry Church some time ago, Chire say a year first it was about leaked audio. Omuko leaky a first or something up audio until them more use that language in my mono. Kingsley Ada, I say the only politician who can make Ghana politics a service to the nation and not a profession is Kennedy Japan. To only no Kennedy, no vote. Oh no. And that one was Dr. Duchum Nipa Baba Wama, Bruno Wama, intino. Or being full, or see on the she's or you're connected into your nose, so on the Ken and a echo. Muhammad Ali, minim what you have on Ken. I see if you're on whose legacy are they going to run? I don't know. It's early days yet. We have 4 years to the next election. So don't worry. I'm sure that they'll give you that answer when it's time. Hussein is saying, Madam, tell the man that NPP will not win 2028 if Mahama come or Mahama will not come. They should forget about 20. But don't tell me something I'm in Kokan. Why? You call I know I'm a mammy, you mammy Kokan. It's on come baby matter. Into what can I say? Meridian is okay. Emmanuel Usuno say that's not true. You are following NDC propaganda. Nanado left gas at 14 Ghana cedis. Nti men did your more connection and Nanado 70 cedis. And no credit. Kwajo Tufo na say Ken will still keep NPP in opposition because Nisuba no there. Opposition no de omba hwa so no so ode omo betina nya de obi papa bia ode ma Ghana for. Owusu Ebenezer say on de hu ni say Ken is the best candidate so far. Omo ma be nyina de. Ken ne betimi abo nto no why na agenda that. She's not waiting for anything. John Opokwenchi so Israel. Or say Ken afa on the or Ken. Now more kasa more Ken no more more vote there more delegates because this one research I was saying Nipani can win delegates now sign our by general population mama ya to about. It is a who delegate and you know what start here so be delegate. Why? A friend saying someone say someone sharing thoughts and you this young guy you are calling the person names. Stay in your country and joke. UK, any other countries are working very well. Some UK, okay, some and all countries will be no be more attempt. I think some and I'm almost here. Obi Canadian man Canadian men calling Nipani names. Also back here. You see this concept of so be Canadian, we have to attack the person. In this civilized society, they chum. Mr. Jeremy, I mean, I don't know between now and the time I'm there, Congress more. Specific strategy be another mo yana mo yansana yako and ask issue no whether why ready for appeal no or not.
Yo, if yeah, before Congress no dey yebeko, but from my intel no, I don't think say date na omo dey share no. Ebeya duma and I say top down approach no.
Okay.
Majority now boycott to say a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
Osha party hierarchies in penny 4 a woman cry na giantum. You know, to me, I believe say your core National Congress now is going to be, you know, wipe out because if you a big problem for NDC, NPP because there's no way say akolawa now sorry I know they have to crawl no di back. It top down approach in there. Meaning who decision it was, and I don't know why they were trying to do that. Maybe to favor somebody or not. No, we don't know what was behind it. But at least, penny for party have spoken. Usha recent conference committee President Kufuor Kasa here. Both President Kufuor and Honorable Michael Quay, almost speech on mine now, he tells you clearly, say they've not agree with it, and let's do the right thing. Not young problem on my party because I'm sure we'll end up breeding a monster. Ebi ne ye mre bi atwa mu Akufo-Addo ye gege so a ye nyina ye hu say ebe buka yesem as NPP. Wow, Akufo-Addo did well, but niema ketekiti bi wo a because of say ye ma tumi ni nyina akodi ni sem no ntino. Edu ba bi no na ye kan bi. No be kan ye fana. It in let's learn from that and go back to the drawing board and fix what has broken.
Okay. And then the Bruno and Bentino when your time in there because it was supposed to be Ken team any Dr. Duchum team. Yeah, when to me, but I think something has come up last minute. But I'm about a Anas issue. Say Anas and cop on a appeal because I'm say during the man 18 million. I'm more call remetitano. Application for remitted or so about $500. On TS from 18 million to a 500. It sounds unconscionable to him. In terms of moving out to appeal. Say my on my file appeal na.
Yeah. If you are no can use or it sounds very funny. Someone who after the verdict now, you did assembly way. Okotra radio so including Samson Lade, excuse me. I say he's not about the money. All he knows say he has won the case. It in Abiawo yellow say obi winning asema. Why winning? Maybe I'm getting something wrong. Why you do assembly ma no? What's your file appeal?
I saw Betty Manko file appeal or file appeal.
What the man so would you the man in the
damage, you know, yes, what the man, but damage in our modern man no sir into upper more.
It you know, maybe according to verdict nearby, no, judge in this state is under New Jersey law. The highest deformation amount of Benya was $500.
Okay.
Do you expect the judge to go above the law?
Okay, but law there were exceptions. Won't there be exception no mujina so I appeal no?
I fear you know what they say Kromua. You are people your friend who wasting taxpayers' money. I think say Sikana would not previously no like a near for dining near my wajino. Sikata let him keep wasting it. Kromua one thing.
We don't have any evidence. I don't have any evidence. I don't have that evidence.
Okay, let me retract it because I'm on this big platform. I don't want to put your into so I retract that statement. What I'm suggesting is say when ya sikabia ma abuniswa, let him keep on wasting it. Now Kromua said Judge Baku, Americans they are very funny and very smart. Once a judge have brought a reading the verdict say no assembly idea 500 upa call a high court of whatever no we are for Supreme Court not White House is going to come out with the same case. I fear you're starting Adna's case.
But so him said that's not the case. Their cases are appeal overturning verdict.
Oh, not this ones, especially coming from Africa. I fear you live.
No. The law is the law is no respect of the African. Just about to say who are new amount judgment. That's
unfair. Judgment. I didn't have to judge the year. Or two from the law book. And of course, under New Jersey law. Unless they say some no could do a California and under New Jersey. But if you go on the same under New Jersey law, not say the same jurisdiction, but the assembly here and I will back Canada. That means you are coming to appeal in the same New Jersey.
Yeah, the same New Jersey.
Yeah, the baby law no is the same under New Jersey law. That's all I'm saying. A simple logic. If you
but who can say that's lawyers no money man. Until I make sure say there must be some exceptions under which that they are going because it will be a appealer. First and foremost, appeal case be a America be a you can appeal as a matter of right. Only pe be a would do case but court in America no. What right so we appeal? So America baby a. And number two, law be answer exceptions. Oh, say anya say the bet me about say under New Jersey law no the maximum na 500 but exceptions anyone na be an lawyer super so mu gina ya appeal no
yo until they say no anyway what I'm saying is the lawyers no say omo man nas file for this appeal I will say they've not doing him a good disservice and disservice because Ocean be wasting the time if your platform is not me back can say as long as the case in the he's not going to get focal. I use that slang word.
Yeah.
Emma may no crack or back and forth. Now church and love fear. Yes, I agree on what you say, but trust me, from where I'm sitting that day, I'm not saying don't getting nothing. Now people thought Emma prophobia, Quebia, no New York, America or should be basement. Echo farm, could do my temple to man so. So what I say, oh no, or ban a show. You me, I don't care about what them did. It did my temple to my microphone and bread. But what I'm saying is,
movie on more attention.
I was vindicated. Say what I was saying was true. Say, you find say a man 500 plane ticket price. He ended up losing a lot of money.
Legal fees,
exactly. Because when you focus, that's what I meant. Because America had a sabit fracture, Ghana almost said we picking some of our laws and the year Juma Ghana, but not entirely every law. There are certain principles that we cannot practice in Ghana. It is Obroni, Akotrawa, the reading the amount of 500. That's all you get. Opa. Unless they say we are going to move the case to California. How much
California is different. It's a different jurisdiction. Yeah,
it's a different jurisdiction, and you cannot even go there because, as somebody said, on this jurisdiction, which is New Jersey, under New Jersey law, no one we're reading the verdict. Now we'll say, on Tias in Tobacco appeal, it's more than welcome.
Now you are saying, say, appeal no, I'm not saying we need the lawyers are wasting his money and wasting his time.
Hey, Bia, this is what I see. Who said lawyer do now all do asem no one more full assurance. Say hey be a simesi if you at some way there you have a case media amount may you say maybe our finance account be you seek be a pocket. Now say ko buka the same no to me any year. They find every means to connive you to pamper them make you feel say I think but there's another chance. If you are enkosiaga it me ya nasa I will just forget it. Let's go. Osiabe wasting plane ticket up and down. No about wasting time. I don't think they said we come for Ken Obeba. The lawyers can handle it. Ken will never show up.
Okay.
Now, one thing Amahuni said, I don't know, per my experience, and I think, said, because of polls now, Ebaya can't lead, narrative no aye akobara and is going all over Ghana will be a kanwasenti. Let's find something to distract the conversation. Na yempulu onti Anas say me kofale for appeal. I know Anas will never do this. So I file the end on ni nyame. But ABI is just a verbal filing or nanwaka.
Okay.
Something to distract the conversation. Say be a Ken is leading. Ken has been the talk of the town. Every radio station talking about him.
Okay. Appeal then
the narrative will change. Now
okay.
Who does that? It is our narrative now. They know but Ken, no matter what come what may 2028. Send the NDC for no cause Ken man platform we have on Babedamasis. Cause Jerukai. Ken is going to be our next president after Mama. Seriously.
Yo. What I Jerry Wakata? Mami now I say they will say appeal ne the end. Ma who crowd who did say on Friday and conform the narrative not to just to distract attention from Ken say
exactly.
He's leading the poll for the primary.
In the right sense of any human being, why are you filing for a case that you already won? And you have the verdict have come in your favor. What the amount I rule in your favor when you're $500. Say can't will be obi will appeal there. Say can't crown or $500 no. Yes, you see me. It did not want to appeal for that.
But don't you think, say, between the jury and award here, which is 18 million, 500 man, he has a reason to appeal. Say, 18 million, 500, it's a quite than them. And say 18 million, no can I say so bad 5 million bimpa. And appeal for say about 18 million, no matter swab 5 for there.
5 for no crowd, yes, because on this platform, it can so foco. Foco means 0. What that means is if you juries no mobile. you and I know that they are not lawyers. Taxi driver be obi or ten a grocery store ton adie obi or ye a friend from I didn't crawl no they are to know all kind of articles the woman they don't even know what it means. They gave their verdict based on emotions.
Oh, they gave their verdict based on, I don't know about that.
Oh, they gave that verdict based on emotions. Judge in crack say now someone make us say munko kan whom why na mo de buy. Because I did this one, I think I will interview the lawyer Darko, and he explained it better than me. Under a lawyer until you can go more details. What it means is
that the jury exceeded their instruction because I am not judging my jury instructions. They exceeded that.
That's it. It's almost it is there. To Cromwell, Obia Bertrand was also a journalist. Now I work for CNN. I'm working for BBC, and this guy was crying. And a Cromwell, based on between a Sikaphone and here for the type of treatment be a Sikaphone ma unibi wahad how they treat you no. Emma the word lynch ebamu. Etino said lynch na sem na ebamu no. Obroni bi artist as hey and that can Japan dangerous for where the Monica. I don't know this and Yamana Samsa, how to mum now who do to me for. Meanwhile, I didn't son tessa. And announce himself at test said, only can me problem. Onya announcing me problem, back Obi why politics over 30 years. There's no single corruption can attach to his name. And such person who was he was rather fighting for those vulnerable people now. Who see Omono.
On that basis, in Tina Janete, so number 5 no.
And your basis no.
Okay.
Based on the law, because who say we are Jumama na wajumana obeye and then ma nam so kan asem no kan jama wajuma abo. E dia emphasis if you have me juma OKFM. Ma be can because of me Jerias ma be kan tiato we fia so they say okay for apamon. Uni adwuma biem and now no omo beka say so wo say kan asema Jerry asema kan ti yi wadidia for evidence e kire say now ye adwuma OKFM bra now they we need your payroll pay staffs fa betre ni enhwe sika na OKFM de ma
okay
oje na ye nyina so ni asema wa nya bi ama it tells obroni clearly say a false information am I because what my Ghana for you not as BBC, which is untrue. You don't work for BBC. You don't work for CNN. You are rather informant. All the information, mom, unya story, I know what on no magma crash or now. And I'll bet you now also BBC.
Yo,
I'm saying that for a fact. I mean, I know what I'm talking about. And that doesn't work nothing for whoever.
I don't know, sir. Ask us all BBC.
That's what he said on court.
Okay. Okay. You are because maybe you must know BBC. Okay, say Tiger Eye for your documentary, mom, but he's not on the payroll of BBC. But as a consultant, I say you media, you was stringers or me external people. You to me for short term. To me, names or more BBC. I doubt it. He said that he works for BBC.
Court work. I just didn't go cast on cover pay stuff. Evidence and just
okay. So, yes, they say I'm slogan. I'm the Ken. Nana Kosia tell you because I'm say let Ken be Ken.
Let Ken be Ken.
Let Ken be Ken. I disagree with Zamu slogan. Because you're candidate, you're managing candidates. It's let Ken be Ken. But baby, we are only so kasa. Be no mama manen kasa. No. But mommy, we do. Derek say respectfully, can you help me with the current education on F1 patrol? You visa assembly, your politics, Muntino, oh, dear, actually, why? Over your final comment, I have see Adam say, yeah, time now so.
Yo, Kakra mechanics say, Team USA. Yeah, my trimunya de. Yeah, koyanim, we are going to fight harder. Na sabe, yeah, dear papa, year 2028. Me, I can't wait for the day that he will be holding that sword. And inshallah, it's going to happen. I can't drobi anchor them because Ken, well, I feel Ken be institutional. Even Ken Japan himself is an institution. And probably assembly of can be a bum.
Yeah.
Me Amatuni is a political prophet.
You. Hey.
Before early stages now you're running and some now mukaze na can the kind and next year who may be a problem in your free buy. The problem came from Baumia office on one age. NDC for na abegina platform so kase and some again in Becca Tre yen. Ye the nina ba bonti and Baumia cry free Ghana.
You.
Which is very damning. And so no ye jaya no to a chilo. And ye kofa second in Japan some of Hokai. And some no so amukokai so wakase say this and some no so was in public domain. Inflation, your economy, akolaketua credit in the economy. It's you know what were you what were they talking about? It's the problem, and they identify problem. It's, I believe say Professor Makoko Mone is our team, no review team, no muko. They should look at that. No muko find out say that's someone now get na kanti. And this if for no Jina so kase somebody need na ba out, but Umia will leave Ghana. What is in there? Let's investigate what exactly went wrong. The young party is here.
You.
And then again, I will advise our leaders say next time no munya position I'm more 5 or 4 more officers so be very cautious. Vet them, know who they are. And some had not contract.
What they know yeah drink.
Yes. That goes for including Ken. It goes for everybody. Because if you are here, if you are
oh, but mama now I see baby. A friend say and go for ebi mo so kase na ken there because about here be too for am on the issue say no dini second there. Obetimi akọ
opinion.
O say
An opinion.
Aha,
exactly. One kokromoti pe. I'm not going to judge him.
I see the youth, or see the youth, you start learning and stop insulting people on the platform. You, the youth, are insulting your leaders, and yet you also want jobs to be open for you. Better than when you're that's a very good advice.
Yeah, that's
youth now more you man. What but social media the attempts now him say employer be here. Better not when you're Juma. Oba ko na se nipa na obi obetimi afọ adwuma na chese ho wakọ asem ama ho. Ko ebo kwabena say moreover we are awaiting for Ken to tell us the name of the person who wanted to bribe him with the $80 million. Since Ken so ready says our information on also the beba ni nyina so hu. But mame na wase say and I will join ye Bruno Baba ye beto asa presidential ni nyina so there's a gentleman who attended message say or Baumia camp of so joining the discussion. No, don't worry. Yeah, they also beba. Inti mame na ase Mr. Jerry Opoku. Yanko shout. I was about to Ken team campaign team USA on and we've spoken about the visa issues na US for any buy Ghana because the ultimate is the best fixing Ghana no said about Ghana be ye now obi answer to me I join Ghana because we can't the President Mama 24-hour economy and the idea is to build Ghana for ourselves said about Ghana be ye ni benya home so and that is the ultimate because Ghana yeah enya de obi tu kwan akọ obi man so because hwe ye nianum South Africa for the level of year yen tu kwan enya South Africa for no tu kwan yo because some are very comfortable in their town and that's where we want Ghana to get to so into o man launch a phrase a 24-hour economy be discussing what impact and ebetimi aba and aba be boy so we'll continue to then that's why we need the candidates no Ken, Dr. Dutumo, Dr. Brian Champo. Everybody should give us their policy direction. A bit me creative jobs for Ghana for no na omotimi enye adwuma. That's where we want Ghana to go. What I say? Yes, sir. Bia really no. If I so be a mass. Mama na must say na mo join here. Production team no Mr. Kojo Hansen ansa and a DOP adibedi akone boy. Next week you better so na adwuma no with the other candidates and other issues ebeba ina nti medama say your friend Vim lady good night thank you for joining us and good night.